played or sung the university anthem and the national anthem, you are please expected to rise and remain standing until that exercise was completed. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I also may I plead with you to please take your seat. Any moment from now, we will take the national anthem. Please, I'm pleading. Our guests, please take your seats. I'm pleading with our guests, please take your seats. Any moment from now, the academic procession will file in. When it files in, the academic procession will be in a single division with the deans of faculties, directors of academic institutes and centers, deans of the postgraduate school and of students, with the inaugural lecturer and the vice chancellor. And at the end of this lecture, the academic procession will leave in a reverse order, meaning the inaugural lecture will lead the vice chancellor and other members of the academic procession leaving this arena. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me plead once again that we should please take our seats. Ushers, please assist us in protocol management for this occasion. Please. Please. Those at the back, please take your seats. Inaugural lecture is at the heart of this university. And as such, we expect you to please assist us in ensuring solemn atmosphere for this event. In other words, we want you to assist us in ensuring that we do not move about before, during, and after this program. Please assist us. Ushers, please assist us at that main entrance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we rise for the academic procession. Vice Chancellor, Professor Ibadan, FAS, deeply appreciates your massive attendance at this lecture. You are most welcome. when we sing both the national anthem and you anthem, please do not move about. We must confer status and respect on the nation and our university.
Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, Registrar, University, heads of the ladies and gentlemen, the 410th and 11th in the series of the University of Ibadan inaugural lectures for the 2016-2017 session will be delivered by Professor Aremu of the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies. Born on 27 March 1964 in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, to Papa Joseph Aremu and Mama Esther Olatundu Aremu, both of blessed memories. Amos Oyesoji Aremu, whose first language as a child was French, had his primary education at Baptist Day School, École Primaire Baptiste, at Jami, Ivory Coast, between January 1971 and June 1975. He later attended Baptist Modern School, Olaijibo, Osun State, between July 1975 and 1978. On obtaining his modern school certificate, the young Amos Oyesoji Aremu returned to Ivory Coast and became the youngest teacher ever at the age of 14 in his alma mater, Baptist Day School, at Jami. He later returned to Nigeria and attended Baptist High School Iwo for his secondary education, which he completed in 1983. He continued in the same school for his higher school certificates between 1983 and 1985. Later that year, he was offered admission to study guidance and counseling in this university and graduated in 1988. He participated in the mandatory National Youth Service Corps scheme at the Juvenile Unit, Ministry of Social Development, Youth and Sports in Ilorin, Kwara State, between August 1988 and July 1989. Thereafter, he registered for the master's degree program in counseling psychology of this university and graduated in 1990 with a PhD grade. He commenced his PhD degree program on part-time basis in 1992 and completed it on 22nd December 1997. Prior to joining this university, Professor Oyesoji Aremu served as a counselor under the Post-Primary Schools Board, Oyo State, from 1990 to 1992, and the Teaching Service Commission, Oshogbo, in Osun State, in 1992. Professor Aremu joined the services of this university as lecturer grade 2 in the Department of Guidance and Counseling, which effect from 11 November 1998. He was promoted lecturer 1, 1st October 2002, senior lecturer 1st October 2005, reader 1st October 2008, and professor 1st October 2011. He has 113 publications, including 3 books, as at the last count. He has supervised 17 master's degree dissertations and 21 PhD theses. Within this university, Professor Aremu has served in several capacities, including Sorbonne undergraduate Faculty of Education between 2001 and 2003, Assistant Warden, Nnamdi Azikiwe Hall, 2003 to 2005, Sorbonne Postgraduate, Faculty of Education, 2007 to 2008, Warden, Nnamdi Azikiwe Hall, 2010 to 2011, Member Senate Representative on Council Search Committee for the appointment of Vice Chancellor in May-June 2015. Deputy Director Academic, Distant Learning Center, University of Ibadan, 22nd February 2011 to 11 February 2017. Coordinator, Strategic Studies Unit, Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, and Director, Distant Learning Center of this university, 12th February 2017 to date. He teaches crime and psychology as an adjunct lecturer in the Faculty of Law of our university, and was a two-time recipient of University of Ibadan Senate Research Grant. Outside the university, Professor Aremu is a member of the Nigerian Baptist Convention Mission Schools Board, 2014 to date, member, Appointments and Promotions Committee of the Nigerian Baptist Convention's Tertiary Institutions, 2014 to date, a Justice of Peace, Oyo State, a Jerusalem Pilgrim, a Baptist Deacon, and a Sunday school teacher at Jubilee Life Baptist Church, Ibadan. He was a recipient of Commonwealth Fellowship in 2007, obtained at the Institute of Criminal Justice Studies, University of Portsmouth, where he was a visiting fellow and studied corruption in the police, and the only Nigerian scholar on African Institute of South Africa's grants project on triumph and prosperity of education in Africa in 2011, amongst several others. Professor Aremu has served as external examiner to the following universities: Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, University of Lagos, Akoka, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ago-Iwoye, Ekiti State University, Ado-Ekiti, Osun State University, Osogbo, University of Ilorin, before ASUBAN, Baptist Theological Seminary, Ogbomoso, and Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo. He was also a visiting lecturer to the Department of Counseling Psychology, Delta State University, Abraka, between 2006 and 2007, and a part-time lecturer, Bells University, Ota, Ogun State, in 2009. He is married to his secondary school classmate, Olajumoke Aremu, and the marriage is blessed with children. I now call on Professor Aremu to deliver his lecture titled The Trinity and the Missing Mission in Policing.
The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academy, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research Strategic Partnerships, Registrar, Liberian. This evening is therefore well intended and is titled Scientifically Sourced from the Field of Study I do not only have a strong passion for, but also in which I have labored for almost 2 decades in Nigeria and outside. This inaugural lecture, therefore, affords me the opportunity to announce my contributions to the University of Ibadan community and members of the public, rather than those who are familiar with my research works on counseling, policing, and criminal justice studies. It is on this measure of holy glory, I stand to declare the awesomeness of the Lord Jesus Christ upon my life generally and career in the University of Ibadan. Before all of you who are gathered here to honor him with your presence, may the Lord honor you all. I've always admired the ritual of inaugural lectures and hope that a day will come when I will also stand to pour forth speech and display knowledge as King David admonished. Aderemi Raji Oyelade, in his inaugural lecture of 14 February 2013, remarked as follows: sometimes we choose occasions in the course of time. At other times, occasion choose us and mark us as players, as agents in the climate of light. In the light of that remark, my own inaugural lecture being delivered some 15 years earlier than I anticipated, this 18th day of May, 2017. Bachelor, sir, many people here may wonder, how do I mean? Until 30 November 2015, I was a professor in the Department of Guidance and Counseling, Faculty of Education of our university. I, however, transferred my service to the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies on December 1, 2015. The same day, our Vice Chancellor assumed duty. I'm sure my letter of transfer of service was one of the mails the Vice Chancellor treated on assumption of office. In short, it was that decision to pour to the IPSS that marked me as a player before you this evening. For that, it can only be God using men of goodwill as his instruments. No wonder the wise one, King Solomon, counsels in Ecclesiastes chapter 9:11b that the race is not to the swift or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise or wealth to the brilliant or favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to them all. From that background, my lecture, titled The Trinity and the Missing Mission in Policing, is the first inaugural lecture in the glowing history of the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, under the leadership of a highly celebrated African scholar, Professor Isaac Olawale Albert, who forwarded my name to the office of the Vice Chancellor for this lecture. It is also the first lecture from the Strategic Study Unit in the Institute, of which I am the coordinator. Lastly, it's also the first lecture from the field, counseling and criminal justice studies in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, a colleague described it as the inauguration of inaugural lectures in the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies. Also, Professor Olawale Albert described it as the first outing of the Institute and history-making inaugural lecture. In the beginning, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I was admitted to study guidance and counseling with 9 A-level points for my higher school certificate after I was denied admission in the Faculty of Law that set a minimum of 10 points in 1985, although I am an adjunct lecturer in the same faculty at the moment. I came into the Department of Guidance and Counseling as a wounded candidate. After my first year in 200 level, Professor Amos Alao asked if I was willing to transfer to the Faculty of Law, and I replied, no. But I asked, how can I become a PhD holder? Since then, I have set my face like a flint, hoping for the best in the academic world. My bachelor and master of education degrees were in common areas of guidance and counseling. But at the doctoral level, in the same department, I became a rebel of sort by refusing to follow the usual path in the choice of topic. My then head of department, late Professor C.J. Bakari, did not agree with my preference of working on the Nigerian police. To him, it was unheard of in the department. I urged him, just as Prophet Isaiah recorded in his book, chapter 43, verse 26b, let us plead together that I may be justified. I shared with him through encounters I had with policemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share the two stories with you to appreciate the instinct in me as a psychologist that prompted me to foray into policing studies and upon which I'm justified through this inaugural lecture. Sometime in the year 1993, I traveled to Alaba in Lagos with a friend named Uted to buy a stereo sound system as a bachelor. My friend had a good knowledge of various types of sound systems. After the purchase, we were at Ojota to catch a bus to Osogbo. On the receipt of the purchase, a letter S was written. Haphazardly, a policeman who was on a mission, only note to him, accosted us and demanded for the receipt of the sound system. When we produced it, he declared that it was a stolen good because, according to him, letter S was forged to the letter Z. He threatened to arrest us unless we play ball, which we refused to do. Other commuters unanimously yelled at us to play ball for the bus to take off. I asked my friend, what manner of people are the police in Nigeria? my friend and I concluded that they had a terrible image. Obviously, the police constable at the Police Act of 1990 is empowered to use his discretion and power under participatory management policing. The error in his behavior was his insistence that I parted with money. The second story occurred in my town, Ola. For those of you who do not know Ola, it is a community of intellectuals in the local government, Osun State. It is next to Ejigbo in size and population. Ola also has the highest number of professors in the whole local government. In 1994, there was a party which I attended as a freeborn. Then I was active in the consumption of alcohol limitedly. It was around 11 p.m. when I had to go to a corner to relieve myself that the policeman accosted me that I was under arrest. The arrest was, however, foiled. The following morning, after coming back to my senses from the influence of alcohol, I again asked myself, what manner of image do Nigerian police carry? After reasoning together with late Professor Bakari, he approved that I work on the topic, therapeutic effectiveness of problem solving and social skills training in enhancing the self-image of the Nigerian police in Osun State, Nigeria. That research was carried out under the supervision of Dr. Adeola Adeoju, and late Professor J.D. Ojo, former Dean of Law, was my internal external examiner. At this lecture, I have two missions. The first is to expatiate on the significance of my scholarship against the backdrop of ignorance of those who have always queried my mission in police and criminal justice studies. And two, to profess to the world what is documented in literature, nationally and globally, what I have done in police studies in Nigeria and outside. Let me inform this wonderful audience that this lecture is being streamed to the world, and specifically it's also being authorized. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, right now this lecture is on the web, and thus making it the first inaugural lecture in the history of the University of Ibadan to be made available in open educational resources. The Learning Center of UI under my administration will avail future interested inaugural lecturers the same service on request. Doing so would add to the ranking stature of our university globally. Policing and our security concern in Nigeria. Policing is synonymous with security. Absence of security provides us with the need for policing. Where policing is effectively rooted, there will be peace and sustainable development. Nigeria, as a sovereign democratic country, has had our own share of insecurity. This has increasingly brought hardship, making the public in some parts of the country to be psychologically distraught. Aremu 2016 notes that the insecurity, which was initially aggravated in 2009 and later blossomed into a full-blown terrorism motivated by Boko Haram, has practically affected the entire Northeast and, by extension, the entire country. In the same work, Aremu concludes that the Boko Haram motivated terrorism more than any insecurity prior to 2009 was the most serious security challenge that almost brought the entire security apparatus, especially the Nigerian police force, into an operational and logistic act. Most unfortunately, members of the Nigerian police force were initially the main target of Boko Haram fighters. The agency suffered losses in personnel, ammunition, and properties. Aremu 2016 put the personnel loss of the Nigerian police force between 2009 and 2015 to 525. Recently also, the Nigerian Army had its toll of losses in some officers. Members of the public also were seriously affected. As a matter of fact, they suffered more casualties in death, estimated to be 30,000 within the same period. This excludes those in internally displaced camps, estimated at 2.1 million in 207 local government areas of 13 other states, including Abuja, in 2015. Certainly, the figure would have increased given the barrage of Boko Haram assaults in 2016, until the recent decimation of the dreaded Sambisa forest by the gallant officers and men of the Nigerian Army. One of our handicaps in Nigeria is lack of empirical data, especially during warfare. Given this national shortcoming, I rely on the data of Global Terrorism Index 2015, which ranks Nigeria with a score of 9.213 as the third most terrorist country after Iraq and Afghanistan. If President Donald Trump of the United States of America should rely on this data, Nigeria may be listed among countries whose citizens might be temporarily banned to visit America. One other security concern in Nigeria that is increasingly usurping the popularity of Boko Haram is a Fulani cattle rustler motivated terrorism, mainly in the north central between Agatuna Sarawa and Benue and nomadic Fulanis over land resource control. This security concern is currently generating media hype. Other than this, we also have the kidnapping business in the southern part of the country. Let me quickly provide this information that while Boko Haram and Fulani rustler security concerns are classified as terrorism, kidnapping security issues are motivated by pecuniary gains given the increasing spate of unemployment and poverty in the land. Another security concern in Nigeria is the insurgency in the south-south and southeast geopolitical zones. At this point, let me quickly stress the difference between terrorism and insurgency. I have to do this because of the common mistakes people make on the two concepts. Even the media is not exempted. While terrorism is a warfare, symmetric or asymmetric, waged against innocent and unsuspecting public, driven by political or religious ideology, insurgency is an ideology motivated by agitation of a group of people to vent their displeasure against a constituted authority. Either way, in criminal justice, they both constitute security concerns for security personnel and members of the public. The question that we should be asking ourselves is, where do we go from here? And who should be in charge? Our consensus of an answer is the government, of course, through its agency, empowered to do so, the Nigerian Police Force. The Nigerian Police Force and its evolution. The Nigerian Police Force is one of our inherited legacies from the British colonial masters. At this point of the lecture, let me expose the concept of police that will help us in this discourse to understand the people refer to as the police. In taking you through this, I will rely on information from my two books on the police, Understanding Nigerian Police, Lessons from Psychological Research, and Policing and Terrorism, Challenges and Issues in Intelligence. The first book published in 2009 was an aggregation of my 10-year research documentation on the Nigerian police, while the second book, published in 2014, was my research response to the issue of terrorism in Nigeria and the intervention of the police. I said Nigerian police and not the Nigerian Police Force. This is another mistake Nigerians make. Aremu 2009 informed us that the word police is a derivative of the Greek word, which means citizenship, or polis, meaning city. Aremu 2009 again notes that the term police force, from its derivation, connotes civil organization of citizens within a city whose primary role is to provide security for the city and people residing in it. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I would not know if my audience appreciate the import of the word civil in the police. The Nigerian Police Organization itself wrestles with this till date. As a matter of fact, the police had attempted to remove the word force from its appellation. In other crimes, police agencies do not carry the word force, mainly because they are civil and friendly while on duty. The Nigerian police, in spite of not adopting the word force, is said to be your friend. You all know better, given your different experiences. Aremu, Iwakwe, and Ozurumba, 2006, assert that the word police is the arrangement made in all civilized countries to ensure that the citizens keep the peace and obey the law. From these two definitions of the word police, you will agree with me that policing is a two-way traffic, the practitioners and the public. Now, let us address the genesis of the police. Aremu 2014 informed us that the evolution of policing had its roots in the Anglo-Saxon times in England. According to him, the early kings to the police demanded complete loyalty and obedience from their subjects. This account of police evolution is associated with the time of King Alfred the Great. Then, the internal police force of King Alfred was referred to as timemen, led by a sheriff. The timemen, who were 100 in number, were subdivided into 12 each to administer criminal justice. Each group of timemen was led by a constable, that is, master of the house, from where the word constable emerged. Another account attributed the emergence of the police to the period of Gaius Octavius, the grandnephew of Julius Caesar, around 27 BC. The motivation of Gaius Octavius in establishing what he referred to as the Praetorian Guard was to protect himself from being assassinated like Julius Caesar. The Praetorian Guard was later replaced with the city brigade of 600 slaves. This also influenced the perception of the police profession to compare people with questionable social status. In Nigeria, Aremu 2009 submit that the beginning of organized policing was influenced by the British government through its colonization policy, and this was dated to 1861, when the British Consul in Lagos sought the permission of his principal in London to establish a consular guard of 30 men. This 30-man consular guard was later redesignated as the Hausa Guard in 1863. Similarly, in 1893, the Niger Coast Constabulary was also established and short-lived for only 6 years. In effect, in pre-colonial period, Nigeria had two police forces, the Lagos Police Force and the Royal Niger Constabulary, until the year 1930, when the two police bodies were merged to become what is known as the Nigerian Police. Earlier in this lecture, I promised to explain how our indigenization helped to shape body perception of the Nigerian Police. This was rooted in how personnel were recruited into the police force, then either as the Dogaris in the north or the Akkodas in the southwest. The Dogaris in the north were later referred to as Yandandoka, where the Akkodas were called Olopa, he who owns the battle. I shall also explain soon what informs Opa, the battle, and how this shaped the body perception of the police till date. Before then, let me wrap up how public deep state perception was shaped, especially in Yoruba land of the southwest Nigeria. In the beginning, people that joined the police were regarded as dregs and rogues who were young and non-disabled. And in 2009 says such people were those who refused the discipline by their families. This Aremu 2014 claims led in the popular Yoruba magazine that what the good can come from the police. Yo, big woman, big good, the modern saying that have become a popular feature in Yoruba folk imagination. Aremu 2014 then sadly concludes that the cultural psychology of the Nigerian police personality from then resonates till date by the public. Amplifying this, Aremu 2002 notes emphatically that the Nigerian police force is the most discussed and the most vilified of all security agencies in Nigeria, and that no good relationship exists between the public and the police. In the same vein, Alemika and Chukuma, 2000, affirmed that the police-citizen relationship in Nigeria is characterized by deep suspicion and violence. Our vice versa, till death, this public opprobrium of the police is unabated. Now, let me address the police pattern syndrome that informs the precedent appellation. In our understanding of this, I will explain the Nigerian police crest and flag. Figure 1 shows the Nigerian police force crest. The eagle stands for strength, the cross pattern for office and authority, the elephant is for steadfastness and reliability, while the green ground is for the rich vegetation of Nigeria. Figure 2 is the Nigerian police force flag. As shown above, the Nigerian police force has 3 colors. Blue stands for love, loyalty, and unity. Yellow for discipline and resourcefulness, and green for energy and life. In a survey conducted on police trainees and rank and file from some beats in 2 police state commands in the southwest Nigeria by Aremu et al. 2006 on the understanding and perception of the Nigerian police force crest and color, it was discovered that the police trainees had the knowledge of the symbols, while a good number of the rank and file had forgotten what the symbols stand for few years after training. I'm very sure this audience would then be wondering on the policing knowledge of an average police officer on the street. Prior to my discussion of the Trinity concept in the Nigerian police force, permit me to explain Salomon Peel's principles of what policing should be. I also refer to his 9 principles as the true mission of the police. The principles are as follows: to prevent crime and disorder as an alternative to their repression by military force, to recognize always that the power of the police to fulfill their functions and duties is dependent on public approval, to recognize always that to secure and maintain the respect and approval of the public also means securing the cooperation of the public, to recognize always that the extent to which the cooperation of the public can be secured diminishes through the use of physical force and compulsion, to seek and preserve public favor and not by pandering it, to use physical force only when the exercise of persuasion, advice, and warning is found to be insufficient to obtain public cooperation, to maintain at all times good relationship with the public, to recognize always the need for strict adherence to police functions, and to refrain from usurping the power of the judiciary, and to recognize always that the test of police efficiency is the absence of crime and disorder. In principles, I found what should actually be the mission of the police. For more than 19 years that I have been studying the Nigerian police force with over 70 publications, locally and internationally, my emphasis has always been on paradigm shift in the police, using different psychological interventions. This informs my resolve to address the missing mission of the Nigerian police using the Trinity in policing as my catalyst. The Trinity in policing. All over the world, the police scholars have always theorized on the best policing approaches that will make the police more effective and civil. This has made police scholars to advance police community participation. Writing on the concept of community policing, Cordner, 1998, is of the view that it has 4 facets. These are as follows: the philosophical, the strategic, the tactical, and the organizational. From the 4 contexts, Aremu concludes that it is logical to suggest that to have excellent community policing relationship, the police need to be constantly aware of the attitude they express while in contact with the public. And this could be achieved through the effective utilization of emotional intelligence. I will later address the place of emotional intelligence in policing in this lecture. Principally, the overriding philosophy of community policing is to make police jobs seamless and bring policing to the doorstep of the public. For us to achieve this, we need to explain what body 2013 refers to as 3 spirits, distinguished audience. Let me quickly allay your fears that I'm not here to exercise spirits from the Nigerian police. However, before my explanation of the 3 spirits, which I've come to refer to as the Trinity in my lecture, I should let you know that it is situated in community policing. The essence of community policing is hinged on the tripod: the polity, the police, and the public. Precisely on 30 July 2016, around 5 a.m. in Lagos, I was engrossed writing the paper when I shouted, "Eureka, I have found it," like Archimedes of the ancient Greeks did. The only thing was that I did not run out naked like Archimedes did. My audience may wonder what I found out. I found a way around one of the models on policing effectiveness using the Trinity policing approach. For me, it was one of my major contributions to policing scholarship in Nigeria. My Trinity policing model was evolved with a view to capturing basic fundamentals that studies have found to have impeded policing effectiveness in Nigeria. There are 3 fundamental, mutually related considered strands in police literature globally: the polity of policing activities as it governance, which is P1, the police personnel P2, and the public P3, who are the consumers of policing products. The 3 Ps are the tripod of policing effectiveness. P1, P2, and P3 would equal policing effectiveness. Categorically, Aremu 2014 notes that it is instructive to conclude that effective and result-oriented policing rests squarely on the Trinity: the polity, the police, and the public. Again, this is where my earlier submission on community policing plays out. It is in response to this submission and others that the idea of the Trinity model of policing was developed. It is therefore needful to explain the model using each intervention that forms the Trinity in my model. Figure 3 shows the Trinity model of policing effectiveness. We have the police governance. Under that, we have policies, funding and cost of policing, leadership and framework. Then we have the police, talking about the enlistment and quality of the personnel, police culture, intelligence. Then we have the public. When we talk about the public, we talk about the attitude and perception of the public. Then we talk about the synergy between the police and the public. Then in the model, we have to talk about communicating security and feedback mechanism. The first leg in the model is made by polity, police governance. Police effectiveness is determined by the quality of both its internal and external governance. This explains why governance constitutes the first intervention in the model. Body 2013 attests to this by stressing that without resources, the police cannot be productive. Aremu 2014 also corroborates this by submitting that the actual cost of policing a country is enormous and requires adequate funding. Aremu 2014 again notes further that effective policing depends on adequate budgetary allocation to security, of which the police are the primary agents. In some countries of the world, police governance is tied to the dictates of the ruling class, which in many cases are abused. In Nigeria, the police agency is on the exclusive list of the Constitution. One of the confronting challenges in this respect is the incessant changes of the leadership of the police, which makes internal governance in the force unstable. Between 1966 and date, a period of 51 years, the Nigerian police force has been headed by 19 Inspector General of Police. This is approximately 2.5 years for each one of them. The danger in this is that instability in security policies could threaten internal security. Beyond this, it could also lead to unhealthy rivalry, most especially at the top hierarchy of police management.
Second leg of the intervention in the Trinity model of policing is the police personnel. The quality of the personnel that the police agency is a direct reflection of the optional code of the agency and the system. The personnel therefore would determine the totality of what operates in the police agency, its vision, philosophy, operation, and the direction. This, however, depends on how the personnel is constituted in terms of its enlistment drive and recruitment policy, how the personnel go through the training in police colleges and academy, how they are trained, and what constitutes the training they receive. And in 2014 submit that the police personnel, more than ever before, should be more proactive, intelligent-driven, solution-focused, and should develop problem-solving abilities. That's studied by Aremu 2006, 2009, 2010, and 2013, and Aremu X and less 2009. About that is by concluding that it is the expected paradigm shift required in the Nigerian police. The last leg of my model is the public P3, which
Aremu 2014 refers to as the consumers of
policing products. The police work is a function of the support base of members of the public. Arguably, the public is a determinant of the quality of policing work in the society. Police job is all about contact with the public, either directly or through electronic policing. Where the public approves of the police job, security becomes more acceptable and also a
function of members of the public who will willingly support the police. With this three intervention, the polity P1, the police personnel P2, and the public P3, the policing model could engender effective policing in the society if the interventions work optimally. Police and anatomy of corruption. Corruption and corrupt behavior have been variously defined by scholars. One defining thought in all definitions of corruption and corrupt behavior is that it is seen as an unethical and unapproved behavior of an individual holding a public office in trust for the citizens. And among X and less, 2009 defined corruption as the absence of integrity or honesty and use of a position of trust for dishonest gain. The 12 for that act on it that corruption is an act done with intent to gain an advantage that is inconsistent with one's official duty. It's well known that corruption is as old as human existence. In the Holy Bible, children of Prophet Samuel were alleged to have extorted people of Israel by perverting the cause of criminal justice and taking bribe. This led to the revolt that culminated in the kingship in Israel. Clearly also, John the Baptist in Luke chapter 3, verse 14b, was not pleased with the prevalence of corrupt behavior by advising the security personnel in his time not to accuse people falsely and to be contented with their wages. The council of John the Baptist further attests to the popularity of corruption among security personnel as far back as 2,000 years ago. And in 2009 then submit that it was from
this part of the ancient organizations, institutions, and structures that the modern society emerged. Just as it is
generally in the national life in Nigeria, so it is in the Nigerian police. Alluding to this, Adas in 1979 contends that where corruption is endemic, it follows that a corrupt society would beget a corrupt police. Explaining why this is so, Maurice Punch 2000 argues that police requests are right clean and are initiated into what he calls optional code of the informal system. What Punch theorizes in his theory of bad apple is that police recruits learn to accept these norms as normal and go along with to be part of the group. What Yoruba people will refer to as Jehovah Penaloshe, Omanji Osheni, a live use to wrap a local soul, to literally transform the soul, and that has stayed long on the soul. Similarly, Aremu 2009 refers to it as the police culture. At this point, the men reason together as to what motivates corruption in the police before they could be said to be responsible for this. Poor remuneration. The police are poorly remunerated.
Aremu and Adeyoju 2003 contend that police are not only poorly paid, promotions are delayed for too long, never making the morale of the personnel low. Poverty. There is not poverty in the land. Where poverty thrives, people could resort to unwholesome behavior to mitigate the effect of poverty. Aremu and Jones 2007 and Aremu 2017 observed that due to the poor indices of the economy, some police personnel may embark on any activities, including corrupt behavior, to reduce the biting effect of poverty or recession, as currently have in Nigeria. Threats of society. Earlier in this lecture, I referred to the kind of people who in the beginning elected to join the Nigerian police force. This number of people is used to explain one of the supporting factors of corruption in the police force. The general feeling is that police job is meant to locate people in the society. In what is the 2004 advanced that members of the police during the colonial period in Nigeria comprised people of low birth and of the class known as Alaarus, reporters. This class of people then was without fixed abode and lived a precarious life. In the Nigerian police, they must belong to the rank and file. Ojoku 2016 draws an inference from the viewpoints of some researchers and concludes that no police organization in the world is spared of the catacomb of corruption. While some agree with this submission, my contention, however, is the degree of corrupt behavior, and also because this may not be so in some cases. I have personal experiences to corroborate this. I was in England in 2007-2008 on postdoctoral fellowship at the Institute for Criminal Justice Studies, University of Boston, where I studied corruption in the police. Professor Francis Peggs and Les Johnson were my hosts. With them, I had informed discussion on the subject of corruption. We also made clinic visitation to some county police stations throughout my program and did not observe an iota of corrupt behavior among the police personnel. I was also in Kochi in India in 2010 to attend the International Police Executive Secretary Conference hosted by Kerala Police. When I never at Kochi, a police corporal was attached to me as an orderly. To minister to my needs. Throughout the 4-day conference, he dutifully carried out the assignment. On my departure, he followed me to the airport and ensured I had a VIP treatment. To show my heartfelt appreciation, I offered him the leftover rupees that were on me. This to my charge. He politely declined. I was ashamed of myself because I was only trying to carry over Christian behavior in me. I had another encounter with another police system, this time around in Singapore in 2003, during a leadership training program that lasted a month. During the period, I engaged 3 Singaporean police officers in a 2-session focus group discussion. These police officers in turn led me to church every Sunday for worship without asking for anything. And of course, I also did not venture to offer gratification, knowing very well that the government of Singapore is very strict in penalties when it comes to corruption. Distinguished audience, I was trained first and foremost as a counseling psychologist. It was my desire and passion for criminal justice that brought me to police studies. In all my research work with the Nigerian police, I've always employed psychological interventions as a behaviorist. In the almost last 2 decades of my scholarship on policing, I have used, among many, the following psychological theories and models: self-efficacy, social skills, problem solving, focus of control, emotional intelligence, mentoring, and motivation. Through this, I've also developed psychological instruments that are psychometrically validated. These instruments have not only been employed in my studies on the police, other researchers have also utilized them, justifying the essence of psychological models and theories as related to criminal justice. Aremu 2014 advises that professionals and correctional psychologists who utilize the knowledge in ensuring social order in the society. Specifically, Aremu in some of his studies, 2009, 2011, 2020, and 2017, sufficiently addressed the efficacy of commissioner intelligence in tackling corruption, especially in the Nigerian police force. Aremu 2017 notes that it's time to reason that the interplay of commissioner intelligence in mitigating corruption in governance will also pass a stringent test if it is used as a psychological intervention in missing mission. All of us present in this hall understand the simple mission of security agency, to protect life and properties. The Nigerian Police Force was established for that simple mission. The Nigerian Police are, however, labeled as brutal and unmindful of human rights. These have gotten improved on their mission. Anything to the contrary brings the police to disrepute and also causes them to be derided and scorned. The failure of police agencies to be proactive and to attract public respect has derisively made its members to be disdained and ridiculed. This affects seriously the mission of the Nigerian police. The interference of the state is also one of the core missing missions of the Nigerian police. This does not only affect police governance, that often made the top hierarchy of the Nigerian police force to be too political. My submission on this has to do with the Nigerian factor and inconsistent security policies of each of the police chiefs that is made to sit atop of police headquarters in Abuja. Beyond this political interference, the same political scenario plays out within the agency. This was mainly the rank and file, who are predominant and less motivated. Too much political interference in police governance affects professional independence of the agency. This also accounts for the placement of the police in the exclusive list of the Nigerian Constitution in sections 214 and 215. This accounts for the continued agitation for state police in Nigeria. My contention, whether in research or public commentary, is the devolution of policing power to the state by making it a constitutional provision under the concurrent list. Examples of countries with state police abound in America, Europe, Asia, even in Africa. The expediency of the establishment of state police is also hinged on the fact that our country is grossly under police, giving about 180 million people in a country of 270,000 police personnel. This number translates to ratio 1 policeman to 574 Nigerians, where we approximate this to the nearest 100. Is ratio 1 policeman to 600 Nigerians. In the real sense of it, it is even more than this, given the fact that 1/3 of the police personnel are providing security and or carrying briefcases or bags of top Nigerians, including their legitimate spouses and concubines. This was a first short of the United Nations recommendation of ratio 1 policeman to 400 citizens. At this point, sir, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I go through some reflections and recommendations arising from my researches on the Nigerian police. Recommendations. India as a country is going through colossal security challenges which have impacted negatively on many strata of national life. Given these challenges and evident ineffectiveness of the Nigerian police, there's a need to rethink police work in Nigeria. In that light, I recommend as follows. The Nigerian government should address the welfare of the personnel through prompt payment of salaries and allowances. The federal government should also make the Police Service Commission, as a matter of policy, embrace research works of the police through funding and utilization of research works on the operations of the Nigerian police. This would promote synergy between police scholars and the police. Examples of this abound globally. The federal government of Nigeria should restructure the Nigerian police by ensuring that office of the Inspector General of Police is tenured and insulated from the political influence of the executives. My research works on the police are largely mediated using psychological intervention. In the light of this, I recommend adoption of psychological interventions like self-efficacy, locus of control, emotional intelligence, problem solving, and others reported in my studies in police education with a view to bringing about the needed positive change and paradigm shift in the police. The federal government, the federal police, as it is constituted, should be deregulated to give way to multi-level policing that will comprise federal police, state police, local police, and institutional police. This in Wallisey 26 contents will promote relationship and outreach. I join in Wallisey to also contend that where multi-level policing exists, community safety will be guaranteed. Lastly, the federal government should immediately declare a state of emergency in the Nigerian police force, because it shows the multi-level policing model adapted from the work of Wallisey 2017, where we are policing effectiveness and then the line of federal police, state police, local police, then national police. This would then lead to community safety and mission policing. Conclusion. Mr. President, sir, given the overwhelming challenges confronting the Nigerian police force and the question of acceptability in spite of the fact that the agency is supposed to be the primary security agency, one cannot but come to a conclusion that there are issues with the agency and its personnel, the public who is aggrieved, and the polity that have not provided needed funding and support. As long as the police are confronted with these challenges, the overriding mission of the police agency, which is protection of life and property, will continue to be elusive in Nigeria. The question then is, what do we do? Well, I would encourage members of the public to adopt the headlong mindset of reticence they have of the police. The agency itself should work on its corporate image through its personnel. Ladies and gentlemen, at the period in the history of the police, the agency is well loved and respected by the public. Then, members of the public will sing, Iṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá wo mi, bàbá mú mi lọ gbàsọ̀rẹ́. Iṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá wo mi, bàbá mú mi lọ gbàsọ̀rẹ́. Ṣòkòtò dúdú ẹ̀wù funfun, àdá nínú láì pọnmọ. Iṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá wo mi, bàbá mú mi lọ gbàsọ̀rẹ́. Sadly, this is no longer so. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, more than ever before, I've been able to advance my scholarship on policing today. The truth is that I've been passionate about my research works on the police in Nigeria, since that is what I voluntarily decided to do. In all this, however, I have offended people, offense in code, and people have offended me, basically because of the ignorance that a scholar with a background in education cannot profess in criminal justice. I've also been faced with the questions of acceptability, motivated by ignorance and poverty of intellect. One, when I was in the public police and counseling, faculty of education was always, why are you in education as a police scholar? Two, when I exited the faculty of education on December 1, 2015 to join RPS, it was, can anything good come from the Jerusalem of education? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with all my contribution to the scholarship on policing in Nigeria and the glory I brought to the University of Ibadan through same, would I know if these people, very few of course, will still make academic charge against me? This myopic and unscientific thinking that security studies using counseling psychology in my own case cannot come from the Faculty of Education has not only been debunked and trashed, I've shown as well that I've enjoyed tremendous academic mobility in criminal justice studies, which has been exported to the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies. This is the appropriate platform where my academic mission on security studies will receive a further boost, giving the expanse of research areas to be covered while mentoring young academics. By conclusion of their missing knowledge of what I do has always been that of ignorance. Commander Ebenezer Obey in one of the Captain Evergreen lyrics sang, "Who shot my teloda, who she wa to liwu, who shot not to liba, to the be tired lorun." No matter wisdom one employs, one cannot place man. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in all this, I have always had my peace as a police scholar. Henceforth, let nobody disturb my academic peace again. For me, it is a mission accomplished because it is God who justifies. Acknowledgements. Obviously, at this point, I must let you know that my life and career have always been grateful. That only can be made possible by the unseen power, the Trinity in council, who manifests as God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. My foremost thanks, therefore, is to my Lord Jesus Christ, who has always made it possible that his mission over my life and career is made known each time I least expect. God has always raised listening helpers along my journey of life. Thus, I thank the entire Oke dynasty of Osas company like local government from where God brought me out to bless humanity in my own modest way. From the Oke dynasty is Aremu clan, led by Olori Ebi, Adewoleka Aremu, Olomajemi Cote d'Ivoire, grand frère, even remercie, who took me friend pour la famille, comme Olosayo Aremu, Pastor Daniel Aremu, Mr. Visayo Kolaje, Mr. Ojo Ajao, and my other siblings, both abroad, many thanks for making the family team. My gratitude also goes to my teachers at all levels of education for bringing out the best in me and recognizing the potentials I am made of. Specifically, let me mention the following: Mama Sarah Akangbe, aka Mama Gifty, Mama is here. Mama taught me English language in Form 2 in Baptist High School, Professor Sijan Bakari now late for believing in me that I could make exploits in criminal justice studies. And Professor S.A. Keshinde also late for giving me the platform to excel through employment in 1998. With their source find peace with their creator. Professor Charles Wakwe for the tons of foreign literature on police he carried to me as a PhD student. Thank you, Prof, and welcome back again. Professor Eli Wangu for encouragement and uncompromising faith in my scholarship. He makes thanks to Professor Debaleoke, late, and he must allow who both showed me the way to study applied psychology in the Department of Guidance and Counseling. Mama Dr. Adeola Deyoju is not only a mother and encourager, but my PhD supervisor, who I love till date. Our mother in Israel in the Department of Education, Professor Oluremi Odebamishaye, who taught me philosophy of education in 200 level, and who later served as supreme undergraduate while she was the Dean of Education. From the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, I have been especially grateful to Professor Lawale Abba for always demonstrating sound academic leadership that is highly cultural and infectious. In the same vein, I appreciate Professor Tajudeen Akanji, Dr. Nathaniel Danjibo, Shola Eshola, William Selabo, Nina Aluku, and Stephen Panetti. Similarly, I recognize Mrs. Bonse Alawode and entire administrative staff and students of IPSS. I must register my appreciation in a very unique way. The support I received while in the Department of Guidance and Counseling, and which I still do till today. My gratitude goes therefore goes to Professor Ajibala Falaye, Jonathan Osiki, Ayo Ahmed, Dr. Adisoja Woyemi, Choma Asuzu, Rotimi Anima Shaun, and other colleagues for the love we always share. Especially I appreciate in a very profound way the camaraderie, love and scholarship I always share with Professors D. Adeyemo, Samuel Salami, M.S. Nyoda, S. Wokola, and Dr. Bayo Oluwole, my second PhD product and academic Elisha. The Faculty of Education has always been a home through which I network socially and professionally. I therefore appreciate the Dean of Education, Professor M.K. Akishola, Professor Yabama Bangu, whose affection for my person is unparalleled, and other professors and colleagues who are too numerous to mention. Many people have learned at my feet in this university. To them, I am a mentor, and to me, they are the reason why I enjoy my calling as a teacher. Here, I refer to all my former and current PhD students, the red gown people, including the class of mentees. May God also honor you all. Ours is a blessed university. In the university, God has raised wonderful people who have become good friends. In this class is our unassuming Vice Chancellor himself, Professor Idowola Yeka. Thank you, sir, for believing in me. Right from the day you identified me at the postgraduate school. I should also specially thank you for appointing me as the director of the Teacher Learning Center. I got to know more intimately Professor Bayo Okwade, my immediate past boss at the Teacher Learning Center, when I worked with him as Deputy Director Academy. Thank you, sir, for your love. Special thanks go to Professor Bolo Itade for his support and prayer. Special thanks to Professor Aderemi Rajo Ilade for the beauty he brought out of the lecture through the editorial work that was carried out. He makes thanks to Dr. Gada Denina for always demonstrating constant love for my person and career in the university. Also of note in my acknowledgement and my other colleagues across many faculties, institutes, and centers in the university, too numerous to list if I don't want to take you through another hour of lecture. I thank in a very special way the core management team, staff, academic advisor, and students of DSC for the love always shown. I extend the same appreciation to the management and staff of the publishing house for the good work. The church remains a strong tower for the righteous and a place of succor for the weary. My gratitude goes to my fathers in the Lord for always supporting my academic ministry with prayers. Mention must be made of the love and support I was received from His Eminence, Reverend Dr. Samson Ayokole, the President of the Baptist Convention and the Christian Association of Nigeria, and his beautiful wife, Pastor Toya Ayokole. Similarly, I would like to thank my pastor, Reverend Tony Babatunde, and his wife, Mrs. Olunike Babatunde. Sir, through you, I greet very specially esteemed members of Jubilant Baptist Church, Ibadan. In a very special way, I also appreciate my brother and friend, Reverend Dr. Edward Alabi of Jubilant Baptist Church, and other ministers of God. I should also, in the same apostolic greetings, recognize the chairman and members of the board of Baptist Mission Schools in Nigeria, the president and members of Baptist School World Association, home and abroad, are also appreciated for always identifying with me and my wife. God bless you, my people. In a very special way, I recognize the invaluable assistance I received from my brother and political soulmate, Right Honorable Najim Salam, the Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, a politician, a who there is no guy. Special thanks also to Right Honorable Professor Mujid Alabi and Honorable Badi Falade. Thank you so much. Especially I recognize that Abdulrahman Bello Tambazam, the Honorable Minister of Interior, whose company of friendship with me spans over 15 years. My command appreciation also to all security chiefs and personnel, as well as media executives and personnel, for your support in ensuring success of this lecture. I must also appreciate the support of a senior citizen and High Chief in Ibadan, my Chief Bayakandi, my Ulubadan, who fully relates with me as a friend. I cannot forget the assistance of Dr. Tunde Ladipo during the years of big struggle. Thank you, sir. Finally, my family members and adopted children, it serves a silver place of mention. Most excellent Theophilus Olayinka, aka the GOC, Precious Mr. Abisoye, and West Gamalian, Tamilore, thank you for believing in me and the cause I chose. Remember, the legacy journey is for you. Adeshina Aremu, Ademokola Adiku, Ulatifalaniyi, and Adetofulani Dadosu. Thank you for being wonderful in your conduct and the keen interest you have always shown in my welfare. The Lord bless you. My old classmates in secondary school and wife, Her Excellency in our own rights, Olajumoke, Omalabake, Abake, with you, it is for life. I can answer, in you I can answer King Solomon in Proverbs 31 verse 10, that in you I found a virtuous wife, because your word is priceless, of a truth. My heart separate trust in you. The entire Aremu clan calls you blessed. At this point, I remember and I both must thank my parents who have joined the same triumphant. Papa Joseph Aremu departed on May 12, 1990. And Mommy Esther Aremu did our world good night on February 16, 2015. Till today, our fond memory is still fresh. I asked God to grant me 3 requests while my mother was still alive, that I become a professor, provide a shelter, and deliver inaugural lecture in her presence. God graciously answered to my request. Mommy, you may not be here physically. I know in the spiritual realm, you are also listening. Therefore, I dedicate this lecture to your eternal memory. Yetem Mama, you may mark Yetem unto you. Above all, I join the heavens to declare the glory of God, and as the firmament show forth his handiwork, I sing, I'm pressing on the upward way, the heights I'm king, the everyday, simply as I walk by, not at my feet on higher ground. Lord, lead me on and let me stand until your heaven's table line. I have prayed that I have found love at my feet on higher ground. Father, let me stop, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for freely allowing me to police your attention. Last 1 hour of this lecture. For that, I remain your friend. God bless you all.